Welcome to our English class, Part 2, Lesson 2.4, Three Visions for India. So students, in the first part of our video, we have learned about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, that he is the father of our nation, missile scientist and the 11th president of our India. Also, he had stated three visions that are freedom, development and standing up. He also says that everyone came in our country like Greek, Portuguese, the British, French, Dutch, all of them came and looted us and took over what was us. But yet we have not done this to any other nation. And we have also learned about the two visions in our first video. First vision is freedom. That means freedom has started from the War of Independence, and it means that we have achieved something at certain level. Second vision is development, means why it is developing, why it is not yet developed nation. So today we are going to learn about the third vision. So let's get started with the lesson. I have a third vision that India must stand up to the world, or no one will respect us. Only strength respects strength. We must be strong not only as a military power but also as an economic power. Both must go hand in hand. So here Kalam's third vision is stand up to the world, that India has to be equal and should be equally counted. Otherwise no one will respect. And he says strength respects strength. If we are considered as a powerful country, then only other powerful country will become our friends. And this is how we'll achieve their support. And this is how they will respect us friends. And if a military power is strong and economic power is not strong, then this will not work, because a military power and economic power should be equal. Then only everything will go equal in hand. Let's proceed further. Why are we in India so embarrassed to recognize our own strength, our achievement? We are such a great nation. We have so many success stories, but we refuse to acknowledge them. Why? We are the second largest producer of wheat in the world. We are second largest producer of rice. We are number one in remote sensing satellites. Look at Dr. Sudarshan. He has transformed the tribal village into a self-sustaining, self-driving unit. There are millions of such achievements, but our media is obsessed only with bad news, failures, and disasters. So here, Kalam says that India has its own strength and achievement. So why are we embarrassed to recognize it? Embarrassment means feeling or showing embarrassment. We also have so many successful stories, but what we keep on listening, we tell that. So why are we into negative part most of the time? Why is the achievement and success hiding behind? Why are we not yet developed? So this was his thought regarding all these things. Even there are so many plus points of India, that we are good in production of rice and wheat, and we are first in milk production. Also we are first in remote sensing satellites, and these are all our plus points. So these are all our achievements. So why people are not looking at all those things? Why are always people crying and considering negative point rather than positive point? Abdul Kalam says there was Dr. Sudarshan who made full tribal village into self-sustaining. Self-sustaining means providing one's need, and self-driving means controlling oneself. So he was the alone man who controlled and handled and provided things for tribal people in the village. And this was a millions of achievement. But our media is obsessed only with bad news, failures and disasters. Obsessed means continuously talking or worrying about something. So why is this always media looking after bad things rather than looking after our achievement and positive things? Do we not realize that self-respect comes with self-reliance? So here self-reliance means self-dependent. So he tells, if you are self-dependent, then only will get self-respect, and all the time will get dependent on others, and this will not work. And then from where we'll get the respect? Let's proceed further. I was in Tel Aviv once and I was reading the Israel newspaper. It was the day after a lot of attacks and bombardments and deaths had taken place. The hums had stuck, but the front page of the newspaper had the picture of a Jewish gentleman who in 5 years had transformed his desert land into an orchid farm and granary. It was this inspiring picture that everyone woke up to. The glory details of killings, bombardments and deaths were inside the newspaper, buried among the other news. Isn't this possible in our country? So here Kalam is sharing his experience while he was reading the newspaper that there were so many attacks and bombardments. Means bombardment means a continuous attack with bombs, shell or other missiles. So there were bomb blasts and bloodshed everywhere. All this had happened in the Israel. And if usually like this happen in India, then you will find same thing everywhere in the newspaper. And everyone had got stuck. But still in the front page there was about a Jewish gentleman who had transformed, means he had changed his desert land completely into an orchid farm and granary, means he had grown flowers and greenery all over, and this was on the first page of the newspaper. So from this he is telling that at the starting or at the beginning of the newspaper there is not negative thing. This is something that inspires others, means something positive. It was this inspiring picture that everyone woke up. Now here, glory means that invokes bomb attacks, bloodshed and violence. So all these events and all the negative articles were inside the newspaper and positive events and articles were at the front. So he says that this is something inspiring. So why can't be this possible in our country, in our India? He says, I want to live in a developed India. So Kalam says that I'm tired of listening that India is a developing country. India is a developing country. Why it is not yet developed? I want to live in a developed country. Let's proceed further. Another question, why are we as a nation so obsessed with foreign things? So here, why are we always having craze of foreign things? Because there are so many such products and so many other beautiful things. Then why are we always obsessed about foreign things? Why we do not think about our country? We want foreign TVs, we want foreign shirt, we want foreign technology. Why is this obsession with everything imported? Do we not realize that self-respect comes with self-reliance? So here, Kalam is again and again telling us that self-respect will come if we all are self-reliance. Then why are we always obsessed about foreign technology, TV, shirt, etc.? If we always think and take foreign products and foreign things and ignore our Indian products, then how this will work and how our India will get developed? We must refer to Indian brands. Then only our economic development will rise more and more. Again he says, I was in Hyderabad giving this lecture when a 14 years old girl asked me for my autograph. I asked her what her goal in life is. She replied, I want to live in a developed India. Here Abdul Kalam is sharing an incident about Hyderabad when he was giving lecture. That time 14 years old girl asks for his autograph and then he asks her what your goal in life is. So she replied the same thing, that I want to live in a developed country, India. For her and you will have to build this developed India. You must proclaim. Proclaim means declare confidently to all. So he tells that for this we have to live in country which is developed. For this we have to make full development in each and every one, and we have to declare it confidently to all that we are going to develop our nation. developed a country. So students, I hope you have understood this lesson and have got knowledge about this lesson. So now we'll quickly refer to the question which I have given here. Students, now let us quickly discuss about the in-text question which is on the page number 40 and 41. Our first question, what helped Dr. Kalam to fix three visions for India? The answer is the achievement and progress that Dr. Kalam witnessed in the history of the nation and during his own career as a missile scientist inspired him to fix the three visions for India. The second question, how should we handle our freedom? The answer is to handle our freedom, we must protect and nurture and build on India's first vision of independence in 1857. Because if we are not free, no one will respect us. Third question, what are the characteristics of developed nation? Answer is a developed nation has to be self-reliant and self-assured. It needs to stand up to the world. It must be strong not only as a military power but also as an economic power. Fourth question, what are the drawbacks of us Indians? Answer is we in India are embarrassed to recognize our own strength and our achievement. We lack self-confidence being such a great nation with so many amazing success stories. We refuse to acknowledge them. We are only obsessed with bad news, failures and disasters. Fifth question, what is the prerequisite of self-respect? The answer is the prerequisite of self-respect is self-reliance. Sixth question, what foreign stuff are we Indians crazy about? Answer is we Indians are crazy about foreign TVs, shirts and technology. Seventh question, what is the dream of 14 years old girl in Hyderabad? Answer is the dream of the 14 years old girl in Hyderabad was to live in a developed India. Now let us see the activity which are given in the English textbook, the English workshop, which is on the page number 42 and 43. So see the first activity, complete Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's profile with information picked from the lesson. So there is a profile of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and for the same purpose, some points are given here. We have to write the related information. And the first one is title. So title will be a missile man of India or something related to the title. Second one is profession. Profession is missile scientist. Third one is branch of science. So it will be as missile scientist is related to physics and aerospace engineering. Fourth one, important position in government held is the 11th President of India. Then the fifth one, history, visions for India. So students, you know what are the three visions. First is freedom, second is development, and third is standing up. So this is all about the first activity. Now let's go to the second activity. Using a dictionary, internet, note down the main difference between. So here you have to think of main difference. For this you can refer dictionary or either internet. Let me tell you one example. A developing nation and a developed nation. So here a developing nation means which is less industrialized and has lower per capita income, and developed nation means more industrialized and higher per capita income. So these are the two differences which I have mentioned about a developing nation and a developed nation. In the same way, we have to write the main differences between the remaining. The remaining activity which is there, the same way you have to find out on internet or dictionary and write it down. Now the next activity, that is the third activity. Find the evidence from the lesson and write in your own words. So the first statement is given here, the sentence, Indians respect the freedom of others. Now here this statement is true and right. Now how it is true? For that purpose you have to find out the evidence given in the textbook. So what is that proof for the first statement? What is given about it in the lesson? Let us find the proof. So now let me tell you, it's on the page number 40. That is, we have not conquered anyone. We have not grabbed their land, their culture and their history, nor try to force a way of life on them. This is the proof that Indians respect the freedom of others. So students, in the same way, you have to find out the remaining statements given below. Now the fourth activity, pick out some sentences from the lesson that convey a general truth. So one example is given here, if we are not free, no one will respect us. So this is definitely truth and it is a general truth. So here it is said that if we are not free, no one will respect us. To be respected, one must have freedom first. So let me give you the second statement. Only strength respects strength. So this is the another general truth. In the same way, you have to find out some more sentences. And students, the fifth activity will not take, directly will go to the sixth activity. Now let us see about the sixth activity. Say whether each of the verb underlined below are finite and non-finite verb. So let me tell you what is finite and non-finite verb. So finite means a verb which change due to the change in the subject or in the tense. And non-finite means a verb which doesn't change due to the change in the subject or in the tense. Let us discuss with the help of examples given below. The first one, we lack the confidence to see ourselves as a developed nation. So here the word lack is phrased to see and developed are the three verbs. So now we have to think which one is finite and which one are non-finite. So as I told, let us change the subject we, lack. So here the subject we is the first person plural. Let us see into third person singular. So instead of we, if I put he, what will be the sentence? He lacks confidence to see ourselves as a developed nation. So as I change the subject, the verb lack becomes lacks and the verb to see and develop remains the same. So here in the first example, the verb lack is the finite verb and other two are non-finite verb. If you are confused about the subject, try using the tense. So given sentence is the simple present tense. Let us change into present continuous. We lack the confidence to see ourselves as a developed nation. So how it will be in present continuous? We are lacking the confidence to see ourselves as a developed nation. So here the verb lack changes into lacking. So it is changing means finite and other two to see and develop remains same. So they are non-finite verb. So in the same way, think about the verb which are underlined in the other examples and find out which are finite and non-finite verb. Let's move to the seventh activity, phrases and clauses. Study the underlined group of words. So the first one is he wore a shirt made of cotton. B one is he wore a shirt which was made of cotton. Here notice the change in first part. He wore a shirt. And in B, he wore a shirt remains the same. But in the second part, there is change. What it is? First is made up of cotton and other is which was made of cotton. So what are the change? We have to see about that. We have to think about whether it is phrase or clause. So student, what it means by phrase? Phrase is a group of words. So what are its function? See down. Merely refer to a concept or expression. They do not contain a subject or a main or a principal verb. Such a group of words or unit of sentences is called a phrase. So here in the first example, include a phrase made of cotton. Why? It is because this group of words doesn't include in any subject. There are three words made of cotton. So the word made represent verbs or look like a verb of which is preposition and cotton is the noun. So as there is no subject, it is group of words known as phrase. Now about the next, which was made of cotton. It is phrase. Let us see, is there any subject? He wore a shirt which was made of cotton. So here in this group of words, the subject is which. So as this group of word includes subject, it is the clause. So in short, a phrase means a group of word which has some sense but do not complete sense and doesn't have any subject. And on the other hand, clauses means a group of word which has a complete sense and includes subject and verb. So here the word which is the subject and was is the verb. So in this the same way, read the following and find out the answer for the following which are given below. So here the next activity, say whether the underlined parts of the following sentences are phrases or clauses. Here you have to find out underlined part of sentence is phrase or clause. So it is very simple. Normally phrases starts from preposition and clauses form a part of a sentence which contains finite or subject or finite verb. So the first one, people from all over the world have invaded us. From all over the world is a phrase. Second one, I believe that India had its first vision of freedom in 1857. I believe. Now what I believe? So it is a clause. It is this freedom that we must respect. So here that is conjunction. We must respect is a clause. Fourth one, we are a great nation. A great nation is a phrase. Fifth one, I want to live in a developed India. In a developed India is a phrase. Sixth one, we have so many amazing success stories, but we refuse to acknowledge them. We refuse to acknowledge them is a clause. Seventh one, we have 10% growth rate in most areas. In most areas is a phrase. Replace the underlined phrases with clauses. Do you know his place of birth? So his place of birth we have converted in clause. So it will become as, do you know where he was born? So here we have put clause. So from where our clause starts. Second one, in his absence, the thief looted his house. So the answer is, when he was absent, the thieves looted his house. So we have put clause. Third one, I am a citizen of India. I am a citizen. So here the answer will be, I am a citizen who is born in India. So here I stop with my lesson and activity. I hope students you have understood this lesson nicely. Thank you students and God bless you.